The sign says, "Welcome home, Cougars," and the Cougars they are welcoming home today the former Northeastern Clinton hockey players. It's the first hockey alumni game that I'm aware of. Referee Brian Jefferson is out there checking the pipes and making sure everything is secure. And the first of the many alumni are loosening up, coming out onto the ice as we get ready for this alumni game. We're going to turn the microphone over to a couple of Johns. John Zerlo, who was very instrumental in this rink being here to begin with, and also to Dr. John Southwick, who has been following hockey for a long time also. So they'll be handling the microphone during today's first ever, to my knowledge, a hockey alumni game here, honoring the Northeastern Clinton Central School Cougars.
This is going to be one for the books. An all-star alumni get-together of hockey players from 1976 through 1994. All alumni of Northeastern Central School. It looks to me like some of them are in pretty good shape. Tests will be when they start playing to see how well they can keep going.
Well, John, you share that mic there with me a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Calvin. You can do it.
Bob then said you never like to share the mic. You're the first one to take the mic out of his hands, as I recall.
Yeah, I used the mic. Actually, what I took out of his hand was a lead light and used it as a mic. And I was talking in the lead light. I was talking in the lead light. I don't think it came out all right, didn't it?
It came out good, yeah.
After we turned the bulb on. Before we turned the bulb on, it wasn't too clear, but after we turned the bulb on, it was good.
Anyway, from 76 to 94, that would indicate that you'd have to be at least 30 if you graduated in 94. That's 13 high school seasons ago. And 76 would put the first class pretty close to 50 right now, John.
Yeah. Son Mark is 48, and he was one of the graduates of 1976 along with Larry Smith. From there on, it's we can read the list down if you want.
Why not? Go ahead.
Okay. The Maroon team.
All right. Mark
Southwick, goalie. Larry Smith, Bill Bayshard. Bill Bayshard and Dave Gooley were 78. Pat Gooley, Dave Bayshard, Ronnie Tatro were in 1980. Benny Laporte, 82. Todd DiOrio, 82. Bart Van Leeuwen, 84. Dan McGee, 84. Ron Boyer, 84. Tracy Lemire, 84. Dale Tatro, 84. Todd Castine, 86. Mike Duffy, 86. Mike Zerlo, 88. Rob Francis, 88. Mark Badger, 90. Jason Langwa, 90, along with Chad Welch at 90, and Matt Muro. In 92 were Scott Favreau, Jamie Bigor. In 94, Eric Richards and Lee Sample Lake compose the Maroon team. The white team is made up of, from 1977, Kyle Castine, Randy Tatro, Dan Tatro, and Steve Dumanil. 79 is Tony Musso. 81, Kevin Marks. 83 was Jim Hack, Todd LeBombard. 85 was John Zerlo, Richard Letourneau, Brian Dumanil. 87, Glenn Levancher, David Castine. And 89, Rob Ware, John Boucher, Brian Bayshard. 91, Todd LaFountain, Eric Young. And 93, Matt Fredette, Craig Shenver, and Craig Hicks.
Hello everyone, I'm John Zerlo, and with me is Dr. John Southwick. And we're here at the Rouse Point Recreation Center on the 10th of February 2007 to witness the first ever alumni high school game. In 1976, high school hockey had its beginnings at Northeastern Clinton. Those were the formative years, the early years, when hockey was not a popular sport in high school. none of the high schools had a team until the summer of 1975, when area hockey enthusiasts decided that it would be nice and it would be time to have high school hockey. So these high school hockey enthusiasts, most of them being youth hockey leaders in the county, got together and moved forward to develop a high school program. And at Northeastern, of course, they were lean years to pass budgets to keep the school system going without having a $10,000 or $12,000 addition to their athletic program, and that's what hockey cost in those in that area back in 1975-76. So a couple of hockey leaders, and I'll tell you who they were. There was Dick Creighton and myself, approached the school board. We went to a school board one evening and asked if youth hockey could be part of the Northeastern program without having it costing Northeastern any money at all. In those years, Rouse's Point Youth Hockey, called Rouse's Point Raiders, and the Champlain Northerners were two of the real hotbeds of hockey on the youth hockey level. And the leaders of the two programs got together and agreed to pay half and half, half the bills paid by Champlain Youth Hockey and half the bills paid by Rouse's Point Youth Hockey. And we did this, and I believe we did it for 3 years. When the high school Board of Education decided to take the program over themselves and finance it, as they are still doing now. So in the beginnings in 1975-76, the first year of hockey, it was financed by the youth groups in Rouse's Point and Champlain. Shortly after that, Rouse's Point, village of Rouse's Point, was awarded grant money, and that was sufficient to build this beautiful building. Once the building was up, the problem was ice. How are we going to flood this, or how are the local people going to flood it? The two youth hockey groups again got together and decided that perhaps if we merged the two groups together into what we now know as the North Country Cougar Youth Hockey Organization, we could have more manpower, we could perhaps seek funds or whatever to establish artificial ice in this building. And that's what happened. Together we worked hard, all of the directors from Rouse's Point and Champlain. We found a rink that was bankrupt in Hudson, Massachusetts, and we pursued getting that rink here in Champlain. There was a committee of 3 people that went to Hudson to evaluate the rink. Roger Veely being one of those, and Roger accompanied the group because he was a refrigeration expert, and without good refrigeration, what good is a rink? Roger looked at the 50-ton Acme Ream compressors that were in that defunct rink, and he said, I can make these run. And with that, we bid on the rink. We didn't bid high enough to even pay for what the bank had in it, as they foreclosed on the owners. So we eventually came to an agreement with them to pay whatever the bank had in it, and that was around $50,000. So we borrowed $125,000. The youth group, now that's the merged group between Rouse's Point and Champlain, borrowed $125,000 from Key Bank, and that was sufficient enough money to go and take the rink apart, dismantle the rink, and reconstruct it here in Rouse's Point. It took 3 weekends to dismantle the rink. That was probably one of the greatest civic projects that was ever accomplished here in this little area. It was unbelievable. And that ice equipment was later put in this rink, and it took over a year to rebuild it. But the ice in Rouse's Point here is considered the finest ice in any rink in this county. So that's some of the origins of high school hockey, and it's been going since 1976. And we've had some great teams, we've had some mediocre teams, and of course we've had some lousy teams. But we're so proud of the current high school hockey program. They're doing very well. They've won several league championships this year. They are undefeated. It looks like they're going to win another league championship and perhaps go on and do well in Section 7 play. It's all come to fruition. All those little kids that started playing at 5 years old went through the program, and some of them now from 1976, that's about 30 years past. Some of them are well into their 40s, and they're back here today to play in this alumni tournament. And perhaps it will be done again, and perhaps not. But the first year of it is always the greatest. And at this time, I think a little due is to Vincent Nigro, who is a director of North Country Youth Hockey. Took it upon himself, really, but I'm sure that he had support of his youth hockey committees to pursue getting this alumni tournament going.
It just happens to be a cousin of John Zerlo's, but
happens to be my first cousin. Yeah, maybe some of it wore off on him. I don't know, Doc.
I'm sure it did.
But I'm proud of him. He did a nice job, and this wasn't easy. There was a lot of avenues to be considered. Contacting the players, and finally he had to limit the teams. Had to say no late in the program because he had to order the shirts and had to buy the ice time. They're having a little banquet after. He had to let the banquet hall owners know the number that will be attending, and so my hat is off to Vinny Nigro and the North Country Cougar Youth Hockey Organization.
John, you came well prepared. I didn't. I just read the roster, and because Calvin said, "Do you have something for me?" And I said, "Yes, I can read the roster." And I'm glad you came along to really did a good job.
I'll
John.
tell you, I did not come prepared.
No,
That's just what I remember out of my head. And when you go through things like this over the years, you don't forget that. I mean, as I'm looking at the rink right now, I can just see piles of sand all piled up and pipes all over the place and boards laying all over the place when that rink returned from Hudson, Massachusetts, and it was a year later before we had ice.
I'm glad you gave recognition to Dave Creighton and yourself, and especially to Roger Veely, who did a monumental
Without
job.
Roger Veely,
Wouldn't be here.
absolutely not. Roger was the mastermind. Not only did Roger know refrigeration, but he was an installer. What do you call those people that? A rigger. He was a rigger. Those 50-ton Acme Ream compressors were in a pit in Hudson, Massachusetts. They were in a hole. And it was, how are we going to get these out of here? Well, he was a rigger in his day, and he put rigging together to raise those up and get them put on a flatbed truck.
He was a no-nonsense, know how to get it done.
Absolutely. Don't get in his way. And he put up with no nonsense.
Right.
But the rink got built, and we have a beautiful rink. I might also add, too, that after, by the way, the $125,000 had to be paid back. I think that youth hockey owned the rink at that time. They didn't own the building, but they owned the insides. They paid it off, I think, in about 9 years and turned it over to the village of Rouse's Point. Signed it right over the village. It's yours. We got it here. Now it's yours. Do something for the community, in which they did. In fact, that's what I am alluding to. Only a few years ago, they got Senator Stafford to get a little pork barrel money up here, and the Rouse's Point Village renovated this rink, and they took the sand out. We had a sand base on the rink, and now it's concrete base, and now you can use the facility in the summertime, where when it was originally installed it was sand and you couldn't use it in the summer. And we had plastic pipe and now it's all steel pipe and better refrigeration system, and the rink is really nice. Newer glass, new boards. The only thing that's left that I can see from the Hudson, Massachusetts days is these grandstands that we are standing on. Everything else is gone. We had a scoreboard that hung from the middle of the rink. It was one of those four-sided scoreboards, and that deteriorated, and the rink that we replaced it with was one that Pepsi-Cola gave us for the privilege of selling Pepsi in the arena.
I think hats off to the village of Ross's Point for maintaining it. An example south of here, the Creed Center hasn't always been as well maintained as this place has. Now I think the Creed Center is doing all right now, but there was a while when that was financed solely by the Creed brothers and turned over to the Plattsburgh City. And for a while, it wasn't maintained anywhere near as well as this has been.
Well, of course, the Creed Center is only used for soccer now.
Right.
No more ice at the Creed Center, but it did serve it was useful before Lake City rink. I mean, there's a need for 3 rinks in the area, and of course, Shazy youth hockey parents did one whale of a job too, and by hook or by crook, got a nice facility there in Shazy. They worked hard.
Yes, they did.
And they got a couple of grants and a lot of just labor of love, and they have a nice facility there, so something to be proud of. Some of the people that got this rink going, I remember Ernie Barcombe was the original manager, and Ernie did a wonderful job. He was hired to work on the rink when it was being constructed, and then he was hired later to manage the rink, and did a whale of a job for years, and then asked for a transfer to one of the other departments in the village here. Mike O'Brien is the current manager, and Mike also does a wonderful job. Everything is so clean and neat, and it's just something to be proud of.
Fellas, I don't think we could talk about this rink without mentioning the name of a friend of all 3 of us, Dick Butterball Letourneau, who raised so much money for the hockey program, and as I recall, cast the deciding vote as a village trustee, or I don't know if he was mayor at that point or a trustee, but he cast the deciding vote to make this all possible too.
Well, what Dick did was cast the deciding vote to close the rink in. Yeah, see, there was originally, this was funded through grants, and if you want to mention names too, you hate to mention names, you're going to forget somebody, but I know Arnie Beal worked hard. He worked hard to get grant money to get the facility built, but Dick Letourneau was the deciding vote to close the rink in under that grant money. And that type of grant, the rinks had to be left open on one side, as they did in Clayton. The Clayton rink was open on one side. That's how you got the grant money. Why? Lord only knows, but that was one of the requirements of the grant. Well, anyway, Dick had a village board meeting when he was the mayor of the village of Rouse's Point, voted, they had a vote to close in the rink eventually after they got far enough along to perhaps even own it then, maybe after the grant, I can't recall. But he cast the deciding vote to close the rink in. So it was a tough situation, tie vote, and he had courage to vote to close it in, spend some more money, and got it done. But the village is far better off because of that move, I think.
Like you said, there are other names that we could mention, but we'll leave somebody out.
I know. I'm afraid to do that. I mean, there's so many.
Brian Jefferson was actually.
So many. Well, the youth hockey people were the crux behind it all. You know, Marcel Fillon was the president in Rouse's Point. I was the president in Champlain. We got our groups to work together. We merged together, and we built together, and Rouse's Point and Champlain has come together. I mean, when I was a child, Rouse's Point seemed miles and miles away.
How often has that happened when Rouse's Point and Champlain come together, John?
Well, it did in this case, as you see, and it
Yes, it did.
and it worked out. So you know, absolutely, the school. You know, when you get kids together,
They make it.
Absolutely, they make it work. And that's what happened not only on the school level, but on the youth hockey level here in Rouse's Point. So that's the history. I don't know where you want to go from here, Calvin.
Welcome to Rouse's Point Civic Center. For what many in the stands I know are hoping will be an annual event, and perhaps some on the ice as well, although I've been hearing already during warm-ups, I think there's going to be a lot of short shifts. And I even heard that from a goalie. Again, welcome to the first Northeastern Hockey Alumni Game. And let me start with the introductions.
You should have said something about Vinny right there.
Class of 1994, Eric Richards and Lee Sample. Class of 1993, Craig Schindler, Matt Burnett, Craig Hicks. Wow, some advanced Craig. Class of 1992, Jamie Begor and Scott Favreau. Class of 1991, Todd LaFontaine and Eric Tank Young. Class of 1990, Mark Badger, Jason Langlois, Matt Merrill, Chad Buck. Class of 1989. I understand this gentleman's on the designated disabled list, won't be playing in the lineup tonight. Brian Bayshard. Rob Boyer and John Bushy. Class of 1988. Rob Francis, our current high school coach.
Yeah, Chad Welch came out.
And Mike Zerlo. Class of 1987, David Castan and Glenn Leventure. Class of 1986, Todd Castine and Mike Duffy. Class of 1985, Brian Lumino, Richard Letourneau, and John Zerlo. Class of 1984, Ron Moyer and Tracy Lanier. And Dale Pedro and Bart Van Loven. Class of 1983, Jim Hack, Todd LeBumbar. Class of 1982, Todd DiOrio and Danny Laporte. Class of 1981, Kevin Marks. Class of 1980, Dave Bayshard, Pat Dooley, and Ron Tatro. Class of 1979, Tony Moose Musso. Class of 1978, Bill Bayshard, Dave Dooley. Class of 1977, Kyle Castine, Steve Humana, Dan Pedro, and Randy Pedro. And class of 1976, Larry Smith and Mark Salter. The coaches on the benches carrying the duties, that would be Jerry Hicks, Rick Hunter, Jacques Giroux, and Rocky Rivard. And now, I'd like to have a moment of silence for one NCCS hockey player who has passed away, the class of 86, number 8, Dean Pelkey. Thank you. And standing in front of me in the box, wearing the black and white stylish sweaters, an old Jofa helmet, that's the yellow one, the old guy next to me. That would be our officials, Brian Jefferson and Bob Pieper. Now, before we get things going here, how about everybody, players and fans all, give Vinny Nigro one heck of an applause.
Good. Hey, good.
He's playing sweetly. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Ceremonial puck drop. Larry Smith and Randy Tatro will be receiving from John Zerlo.
Menial player.
Good.
They're on there, fella.
Are you all set? We'll try to get you the names when we see the numbers. We can't tell them. 15 is Dave Bayshard, and 14 is Pat Gooley. 16 is Dave Gooley, and 7 is Larry Smith. Who did I miss? 16. What we're going to do is let the game play by itself.
Right.
12 is Dave Bayshard.
Well, maybe you guys could just start going down that list and just talk a little bit about the families that
All right.
are playing.
Sure.
Did I give you my other sheet?
In goal, I think, is my son Mark. And Larry Smith. His mother is Mrs. O'Neill. Bill Bayshard is well known in the area.
That's a different Larry Smith. It's Larry Smith that used to live on Champlain Street.
Yeah.
And he worked for Valley Vending, and now he lives in Queensbury.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
And,
You got it right. You got it right. That's right.
And let me also tell you this. In 1975 and 76, I was the squirt coach for Champlain Youth Hockey, and Larry was my assistant. He was a he was just graduated and went on to Plattsburgh State.
Yeah, his mother, Ken and Joanne Smith.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, Larry was a great player. He was probably the best skater we had in 1976.
Yes, he was, yeah.
Sure, he played with your son Mark.
Yes, he did, yeah.
Some of the other
10 is Tracy Lemire.
on that
So we're
early
talking mostly about the Maroon team, but
on that early team with your son, you remember Bubba Ouellette
yeah.
was a defenseman on that original team.
And the Brunels from Scioto. They played
What do we call
high school,
that?
yeah.
Was that Todd LeBombard? Try a 9. It looked like Todd LeBombard. On the
9 is Mark Badger.
That was Mark Badger?
Yep.
We'll find out shortly.
And 30 in goal for the white team is Craig Hicks.
Craig DeCiv Hicks.
Well, he made 1 save. 1 out of 2. That's not bad.
Craig came out of warm-ups and he was all worn out. He says, I can't do this anymore. Oh, Mark Southwick.
Oh, I made the first save and got the rebound in. Through Mark. Didn't recover.
Steve Dumanel scored that first goal.
Steve Dumanel, yeah. Steve Dumanel got the first goal. Dave Bayshard assisted. Now this was a nice goal here.
Yeah.
A shot and a
Shot.
rebound and banged it right in.
Trina Sample has an emergency phone call. If she's in the stands. You can take it over at the Zamboni room, I believe.
And Bill Bayshard, we talked about Bill.
Bill, yeah, he's
And Dave
Dave
and
of mine. You know, let's talk about Bill for a minute. He's almost a cousin of mine, and he's a coach at Beekmantown now, and that
Right.
should certainly be mentioned. And a heck of a tennis player here at Northeastern too.
That's right.
Cougar scored by number 12, Bill Bayshard, assisted by number 14, Pat Dooley.
They just announced that Bill Bayshard, assisted by Pat Gooley, got that second goal. Are you guys still breathing?
Yeah, we're still breathing, but we're looking at a maroon team, and it's the white
Well,
team
never
that
mind who's
scored.
out there. Just talk about the people on the list.
All right.
All right, okay.
You go down there. Let John do it.
He doesn't want us to talk about the game. He wants to talk about these people.
All right,
You're
let's
not
talk
going to
about
be able to keep
Okay.
up, so.
All right, Mark Southwick we did. Larry Smith we did. Bill Bayshard we did. Yes, Bill Bayshard did all his schooling here, played all his youth hockey here, and went on to school, I believe in New Hampshire, and doing a wonderful job for Beekmantown Central as their hockey coach. Dave Gooley here, number 16, graduated in 1978. Dave opened up a new meat market in Rouse's Point at the mall leading out of Rouse's Point. Pat Gooley, his brother. Pat now lives in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and he flew up just for this game today.
Who are their parents?
Their parents.
Their parents were Beverly and Henry. Henry and Beverly, and then we have David Bayshard. David played his youth hockey here. A little story about David. When Ron Rivard was coaching the high school team, we qualified for the sectional for the playoffs at the end of the season, and we had a problem. I don't know what happened. Some kids became ineligible, and he lost his goaltender. David Bayshard volunteered to get in goal, and we only had about 9 players that whole day because there was some kind of a discipline problem. I don't remember. That was way back in the around 78 or 79. And lo and behold, David did a whale of a job. We lost the game, but only by a couple of goals, and we were just outmanned. But Dave Bayshard. Dave has a son now, Josh, that plays on the high school team. There's another goal.
Uh-oh.
You want to get that goal?
Had me shut off for a minute. We missed the goal.
Missed the goal. Oh my goodness.
There's gonna be a lot of them, Calvin.
Yeah. there'll be a lot of them.
Ronnie Tatro, that's a son of Rainey and Caroline. Rainey passed away a couple of years ago. Rainey was a super youth hockey enthusiast and coached for youth hockey for years. Ronnie Tatro has a son that's an outstanding hockey player. Denny Laporte. Denny graduated in 1982. Denny is the son of Andre and Merrill Laporte. Todd DiOrio graduated in 82, son of Cheryl, and his father was Lou. He passed away. Bart Van Leuven, class of 84. His dad was a Border Patrol agent in the area, retired, moved away. Harry Van Leuven. Danny McGee is on our list, class of '84, but Danny couldn't make it. He signed up, paid his fees, and had a situation where he had to be with his daughter. She was in some kind of a play or whatever, and that was number one with him, and he forfeited the trip to be with his daughter. Do you want to do some commentating and then we'll get back to this?
No, we let the game go. Yeah. You want to come back? You're doing well.
We're up to Ron Boyer. Ron Boyer, class of '84. He had a brother Danny too that was a hockey player. Ronnie was a good youth hockey player as well. And Tracy Lemire.
Tracy Lemire is from Moores.
From Moores.
Fathers Leon and Viola.
Yeah, and he has a son Brandon on the high school team now.
Dale Tatro.
Dale is the son of Gloria and John Paul.
Right.
John Paul, town councilman for the town of Champlain. Dale running the big farm with his brothers. Todd Castine, son of Beaver, Clarence Beaver.
No, Marcel Beaver.
Marcel Beaver.
And Barbara.
And they moved to Florida. And Todd lives locally, I think, in Clinton County. But his brother David lives in Florida. Mike Duffy, son of Teresa and Ken, graduate class of '86, works hard with youth hockey today. Next guy I know very well, class of '88, Mike Zerlo. Mike is Clinton County administrator now.
John and Mary Zerlo, local people, stayed locally.
Robbie Francis, Dad's name was Lou, and was a good friend of mine. Passed away a couple of years ago. Where Rob is now the high school hockey coach, and played on the same team as Mike Zerlo. Mark Badger, class of '90, son of Berna and Ron.
Ron Badger, right.
And Jason Langlois, class of '90, son of
Ronnie's son?
Ronnie Langlois and Miss Conkright. I can't. I'm looking at her. I'm looking at her down there. Not Gail, but I'll get it to you in a minute. She's gonna kill me because I can't think of her first name. Chad Welch. His mom and dad are here. Pat and Ellen, graduate of '90, class of '90. Matt Miro, Mark Miro, son, class of '90. Scott Favreau. Don Favreau's son, and Susan.
Right. See?
And it's Susan's sister that I can't think of. Doc, you do the next couple, and I'm going to get that name for
She'd
us.
be the stepmother anyway, wouldn't she? Wouldn't she be the stepmother of that long one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to worry about it.
No. Okay.
We're on. Keep going.
Keep going.
Okay,
Jamie
next we
Begor.
have Jamie Begor. Jamie's
Moores.
from Moores, and
Larry and Norma.
Larry, I think they call
Peachy.
Larry, the
Peachy.
dad, Peachy, as well as Jamie gets called Peachy now and again.
And they run
Dennis.
the store there.
They run the little store on Route 11, that's right, outside of Moores. Eric Richards, son of Dennis Richards. Ooh, nice stop. Mark Southwick's hot in the net there,
Well, he's let in two.
Lee Sample, class of '94. I didn't see Lee yet today.
Bruce and Scarlett son.
Yes. Right. See?
Bruce and Scarlett sample.
Bruce and Scarlett, that's absolutely from Moores. Now that's the maroon team.
Another white team.
That was the even numbered
Right.
years, right?
Right.
Now we're at the odd number of years. I don't
white
know.
team.
Let's see if we know these guys.
Kyle
We're doing this
Castine.
right off the top of our head.
Start
Yeah,
at the
well,
top.
Kyle's, Calvin's got a hit in here once in a while.
Don Castine.
Yeah. Donald and Georgia. Donald and Georgia. Yeah.
Randy,
Tatro, Don, and
son of
Dan is the son of.
Randy is the son of Randy's the son of Caroline and Rainey, and brother to Ronnie, who we already discussed.
Right.
Randy was a class of '77. Now he runs the Oh God, I don't know
It's called American Express. I don't know if it's-
It used to be American, but Mara something now. I go by it every day. But
Right there.
he's a
Shazy.
financial advisor, just outside of Shazy, and you see Carolyn Tatro on the sign as well. She's a certified public accountant. Let's see. Dan Tatro. Danny Tatro is son of John, Paul, and Gloria, class of '77. Runs the farm with his brothers Don and Dale.
Steve Dumanel, Romy.
Steve Dumanel, Romy, and Jerry.
Yep.
Class of '77. Tony Musso. Son
Ray.
of Ray and Winnie.
Winnie, yep.
Class of '79. Kevin Marks. Kevin has a son on the high school team now too.
Yep.
He married Donna Boardman. Donna's his wife. Jim Hack. Joe Hack's son. Class of '83. They're in the auto parts business. I think they still are. Joan and Joe. Todd LeBombard. Class of '83.
That Don's son, maybe? Or not? Donald Lombard's son? No.
I don't know.
Oh gosh. Can't remember. She used to rent from me.
Well, let's leave. We'll go on to John Zerlo. We've already talked
next,
about
John
Mike's
Zerlo.
mother and father,
Okay,
John
yes.
and Mary,
Same
Richard
family.
Letourneau.
John, 85. Richard Letourneau, 85. Richard, son of Colette and Dick.
And Brian Dumanel. We talked about Romy.
And Steve. Steve's his brother. He's here today. Class of '85. Glenn Devancher. Glenn is class of '87. Gloria is his mother. And his dad is Bruce Levancher. David Castine, that's brother of Todd, class of '87, and son of Beaver, Marcel, and Barbara. Robbie Boyer, son of Jimmy and Tina Boyer, class of '89.
John Bushy, Ken and Joan Bushy.
Kevin Joan, class of '89. Brian Bayshard.
Wait a minute, you can't leave Bushy without getting his nickname. A coyote.
All right.
We used to call him Bushwhacker. John was on the line with Robbie Francis in high school and in youth hockey. They went up all the years together. They're not on the same line today because John graduated a year after them, but he was a little disappointed that he couldn't play with his old line mates. But that's the way it goes.
Brian Bayshard.
Let me talk about John Bushy one more. In the early days, in hockey's infancy, when we used to get up at 2, 3 in the morning to go and play our games at the Plattsburgh Fieldhouse because that was the only ice sheet in the area, Ken Bushy, the father of John, was one of the early referees. And he used to go down there with...
He would go down there with Guy Juno.
Absolutely. Go down with Guy Juno, the two of them.
Yeah.
And now we have another high school official. Denny Laporte officiates high school now, and we had Larry Belrose, who played for Northeastern and did officiate high school hockey. So did we do Brian Bayshard?
No, Brian Bayshard,
okay.
Claude and Beverly Bayshard.
Claude and Bev, yeah. And Brian is very benevolent. Brian made a big donation to this game today. He furnished a good chunk of money to pay for the jerseys. And that was very nice of Brian. Brian, in addition to playing hockey, was an excellent golfer, and was the golf manager and golf professional at our course for a few years. Todd LaFountain is next. By the way, I should mention that on behalf of his company, it's the oh my goodness, Malt, North Country Malt.
Yeah.
They for the microbreweries. That's Brian's company. Todd LaFountain is from class of '91 from Moores.
Armin.
And Eric Young.
That was a dangerous play, but it didn't result in a goal.
Eric Young,
Goaltending.
son of Chris Young here in Rouse's Point, class of '91. Matt Fredette, Linda Fredette, and Ronnie Fredette's son. Matt's a teacher in our local school system, class of '93. Greg Shinver, now in financial planning in Albany, class of '93, also was an excellent golfer. Craig Hicks, now a town councilman in Champlain.
Works for the telephone company.
Works for the Champlain Telephone Company and Glass of 93. The coaches, the Maroon team was coached by, these are all former high school coaches. Ron Rivard was our first coach. Little story about that. I think you might be interested in that. In 1976, when we started high school hockey,
Good play.
as I told you a little bit of the history before, well, we finally got the thing going and we're ready to go, but we needed a coach. So now it's September, and hockey program's going to start in another month and a half, and we didn't have a coach. But that September, Northeastern hired this young man to teach physical education. And I was teaching there at the time, and I had big glass windows on the side of my room. I could see anybody that went down the corridor. So this guy was coming down the corridor every day. Once said to myself, wonder why he's coming down here. Well, I finally walked out of my classroom one day and confronted him and said, who are you and what do you teach? And so he came down to our building from the junior high building because he taught a high school phys ed class. So I said, gee, you're a phys ed teacher? Yeah. I said, you know anything about hockey? He says, well, I haven't played much hockey. I've never coached hockey. And I said, well, what was your sport? He says, I was a soccer player. And lo and behold, turns out he was an All-American soccer player for Norwich University. So I said, wow, we're looking for a hockey coach. I said, what the heck's the difference? Hockey, soccer, same breakout plays and all. I said, you ought to be able to coach this hockey team. Well, he's looking at me like I'm some kind of a jerk. So, so he came back the next day and thought it over. Kind of checked my credentials out to see if I was on the level. And he says, yeah, I'll do it. And I said, great. I said, what's your name? He says, Ron Rivard. Good. He says, we'll call you Rocket Rivard, just like Rocket Richard. Montreal has their Rocket Richard. We've got our Rocket Rivard. And that's where Rocket Rivard came from. And Rocket coached for 11 or 12 years here.
I got to tell you, interrupting the names and family, well, we got some pretty good skating out here.
Absolutely. A lot of these kids are playing. You know, they think they graduated a lot of years ago, but a lot of them play 2 and 3 times a week. Come on. I mean, there's leagues going on. These guys play a lot of hockey.
Yeah, Rob and Dave, I know, play locally.
Yeah, and it's nice to see a lot of these kids involved in youth hockey. A lot of the kids out here I see working with youth hockey programs, and you know, that's giving back from what was given to them over the years. So that's great to see.
I think also they must have had an understanding, no checking, which is good.
Absolutely.
Which is good.
Absolutely.
Which is good.
Yeah,
They don't need that.
If you check, you're gone. I think they're starting to tire, Doc.
You think so?
Yeah, I really do.
Well, they're moving. Like Calvin says, they're having 14-second shifts now. And that keeps them fresh. There's enough players on the... Good move there. Good pass. And a good goal. Some good passing there. And Bart Van Leeuwen scored.
He said he was going to score too.
Yeah.
So just like Babe Ruth.
Yeah, he pointed. He's got his face mask up over his forehead though, so I don't know if that's helping very much. I'd like to have seen all these players with face masks on, but they're not lifting the puck too high, so. Oh, oh, oh. There's a little bit of a check. That's a good pass. Well, seems a pretty fair hockey here.
Cougar Maroon goal scored by Bart Van Leeuwen, assisted by Danny Laporte.
Should point out, Danny Laporte just got the assist. He referees quite often here.
Yes, he does.
At
Right.
the rink.
Good referee, too. Along with Mike Jodoin, probably one of the best. One of the few that I don't complain about.
Well, you used to say that about Mike Jodwin, but
I do. I just said.
I remember you picking him apart one night after
Well,
one
that's
of the high
because
school games.
that's because he gave Mike 4 penalties one night. And 3 of them.
5?
No, they were all justified. But after that game, Rob took Mike's captaincy away from him. I don't blame him.
Is there any contingency for overtime here? Or?
No, there's no contingency. It's either going to
Well,
be
they're going to play another 20-minute period.
good save,
Icing. No icing.
no icing.
No. You could have played it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I got you hockey experts.
Right.
A couple things that
All
I
right.
often wonder about. When there's a face-off, and
Yes.
the ref throws somebody out of the face-off. What's that all about?
Because
They go down to the stick too
that's
quickly.
right. Center man was trying to get an
Trying
advantage.
to get an advantage, either getting the stick underneath or lifting the other stick.
All right. And when they have these face-offs, it just seems that they just pick a spot out of thin air. How did they determine where they put that puck?
Well, normally it's in a circle, but
In a circle.
But there are face-offs.
I've seen them all over the place.
Yeah, there are. I don't know. I don't know the rule.
Good pass. Good
What
save.
happened to the puck?
Now, ordinarily, if he covered that with his glove, it would have been a penalty.
9:25.
I'll tell you what.
With the program,
What you're seeing when it's all over the place, you're seeing where the puck left the ice or whether it was deflected out of bounds by either opposing team or the aggressive team. And that's where they call the face-off.
take shots on the goal.
If it's when you're seeing a face-off in the circle, it's generally the goalie is trapped the puck, and then it'll be moved one side
How
to
do we
the
know
other.
what number we got here? 36.
What are you talking about?
9 and 25. If you have a program, either 9 or 25, you're going to go out and shoot out at the end of the period. Shoot at the goal. He's going to put a little game or something. We have 36, so we're not going.
Not going. Good.
We did
That's
that
some good
already.
passing.
I got $100
Some good
in that
passing.
raffle.
See if we can pick out some numbers here. What do you want? What do you got?
Oh, well, it's good to see money. I'll put our best names on. You're okay.
Can you guys hold off on buying the raffle tickets till this period's
The
over?
period's over. Okay, we can do that, Calvin, for you. That was a pretty good move.
Not just Donna. That's Donna. That's Donna too. Hey Karen. That's Miss Langlois. Consite Langlois. What's your first name? Give me that. You remember the name we couldn't remember? Just hit me, Lori.
Oh, yeah.
That's a sign of old age.
That's what's called, when you're over 55, it's called delayed memory.
Okay.
Only 80%.
legal?
No, yeah, it's legal. 80% of people have that. So I've asked the experts why the other 20% are preserved. Why is their memory so great?
The ice is not
They
being
can't
done, but
answer.
anybody in need of oxygen? Doc Southwick, are you still in the house? I think the old guys are putting schooling on the young guys.
They're playing just 2 periods, so this is halftime. Louise Lemire is going to take a shot from mid-ice, and I guess she has to hit that Trahan construction sign down there.
Each player will get 2 shots.
While I stand up, she's a little bit off. Just
Maybe 2 more.
You're going to have to make.
Can we move her a little bit?
I'm going to move her up to the blue line now and see if she can come a little closer. For one thing, she's out there with street shoes on, trying to get some oomph behind the shot without landing on her head. Look at that. I don't know what. Oh, she got. Okay, there's little holes at the bottom of that thing, I guess. I see. There's little holes. The chance of winning this is about one in a gazillion.
Now for his 2 shots, Cody Gaines.
Cody who?
Cody Gaines.
Ganes.
He got it.
Wow. I guess he's a goalie, so he knows how to send it.
Good job, Cody.
Here we go.
What'd that kid win?
4 direct
4.
subs.
Rick Lamberton or Rick Garson?
Well, Jurek. Oh, I don't know. Why does Rick Lamberton have the Plattsburgh one?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know.
Must be Garson.
Now we're going to watch a little play here.
Talk about the coaches too sometime or another.
Coach, where's my paper? We're going to continue with the coaches now.
Okay.
Remember, I
We talked about Ron Rivard.
I left off at Ron Rivard.
Yeah. Jacques Giroux.
Jacques Giroux, we're talking about the coaches now. The 4 coaches that are here today, Ron Rivard and Jacques Giroux are coaching the Maroon team. Those are the graduates with the even number of years. And coaching the white team, the graduates with the odd number of years, Jerry Hicks and Rick Hunter. We did talk about Ron Rivard already, so now Jacques Giroux. Jacques Giroux was a very successful youth hockey coach here for the North Country Cougars, and I would go out. I'm not going out on a limb and saying this. I'm giving you factual information that the teams that he coached were the most successful teams that played here for the North Country Cougars. He took teams each year to the state tournaments. He had a wonderful Pee Wee team and a wonderful Bantam team that won every tournament they ever played in. One special tournament that Pee Wee team played in was in Potsdam. They were trying to qualify for the state Pee Wee tournament, and they had to beat Potsdam. And we're 2 evenly matched teams, and we ended up beating Potsdam on their rink. And the score was, I don't remember the score, but it was that we won in the 4th overtime. 4 overtimes. It was an unbelievable game. So, and Jacques Giroux was a junior B player in Canada as a young boy. Rick Hunter, local boy, teacher at our local school system, business ed teacher, played youth hockey, coached youth hockey, coached the varsity team for several years, and Rick has a son, Mac, that now plays on the North Country Cougar Pee Wee team. And they are Buffalo Sabre fans. Now, Jerry Hicks. Jerry Hicks
had a good team.
Jerry Hicks had a good high school team, yes. Jerry worked at Ayerst, Wyeth Ayerst.
He was a pharmacist.
And after he left there, he's he was a pharmacist for Wyeth.
Yeah.
And now works as a pharmacist.
Working up in Tupper Lake.
Is that where he is now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's been a referee and involved in youth hockey, like you said.
Absolutely. He did a lot of refereeing and coaching for North
His
Country
son Kyle played
Cougar
with
youth hockey.
my grandson John, and they had a fairly good team at that time, but not overpowering team.
So I think that probably takes care of all the participants here today.
A couple of things about the game that I'm sure everybody is seeing. There's no checking, and there's no slap shots. You'll see if a player... Oh!
That didn't go in?
No, it did not go in. They're pestering. Maroon team is pestering, but White's taking over. You got your roster there, John?
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, that hurt.
Wow.
Well, we got it on a pad. So
I thought that was.
hurt.
I thought, wasn't that a slap shot?
Yes, it was.
It looked like a slap shot.
It was. But I thought that was part of the rules that you didn't allow it. Good passing. Good passing. Maroon team trying to clear the puck, and they can. White controls it.
Hey, what a nice stab. Is that Mark Southwick in the net there?
No.
That was a nice stab.
No. Get your roster. Got your roster out there? Let me see. Turn them
Is
around.
it a Castine boy?
Must be.
Looks like it.
Yep.
That would be Todd Castine. He's the goaler.
White is.
Ooh.
White team has the territory, and Maroons
Yes,
having a hard time getting the
Getting it
puck out of the zone.
It's coming out now.
Here they come. Good pass. Like the Bart, Van Leeuwen, back to 10. Net off its moorings. Call the play. There aren't many stoppages of play.
I got a question for you, John.
Yes?
I mentioned this to John Southwood earlier when we were off camera. But you got a big basketball superstar like John, a big basketball superstar like Henry Cooley. And how'd both you guys end up with hockey players?
Well, I'll tell you how I ended up. One day I got a knock at my door. This was around 1973, about 73, and it was Donald Tatro. Donald came into my house and he says, "John, we'd like you to be part of our youth hockey organization." I said, "I don't even know how to skate." I said, "I don't know much about hockey. I know there's a blue line and a red line." And he says, "Well, we want you to help us organize." Well, ended up what he wanted me for is to fundraise and to organize and to just be a youth hockey person. so I did get involved, and I loved it, and I stayed very, very active for about 15 years, and also took part in the organizing of the Champlain Valley Hockey League, which encompassed teams from Vermont as well as New York State. And of course, with that being said, my kids started playing hockey in the winter instead of basketball. And one of them was Michael was only 4 years old. John was 7. So they started and playing hockey. And that was the story. And Henry Gooley, I don't know why his kids didn't play basketball. They were always hockey players as well. So that's my story.
I think my grandkids got into it rather than basketball because there was so much activity, thanks to people like John Zerlo that got involved with the youth hockey, and it seemed to be a more involved goings on than basketball. And
Yeah.
you talk to even present day players like Greg Chapman, good basketball player. His son plays hockey.
Yeah.
Tall.
Yeah.
My grandson Mike, 6'4", always been hockey. Always been hockey.
It was a funny thing. When I was in the locker room when my son Michael finished his last high school game right here in this rink, and he tied the laces together and he hung the skates up on a hook behind him, and he says, "I will never put my son, if I ever have one, put him through what I have gone through to play hockey." Mike was a defenseman, and always, the stress on the defenseman, and he worked hard, and a lot of times things were left to him to make a play or whatever. He was a decent player, and he said just didn't want to go through it anymore. Well, you know something? Michael is now coaching youth hockey in Plattsburgh, and his son is a marvelous new player. He's scoring goals now and loves to play hockey. So that's a little story as well. Here's a boy that not going to put my son through this, and now he's in coaching and got his kid involved.
Oh, a good back pass. Good back pass. Coming around. Good pass. Good passing. Carried the puck in the corner.
Wow, that's 3-2, or is that?
Oh, yeah, 3-2.
Wow. Get the numbers. Oh, look at the numbers.
Numbers are right there. Who's
Mike
goal
there.
there?
Mike, on the fourth. See, they can't get the puck out.
Cougar White, go ahead goal.
Oh, look at the slapping. Who's number 7? Who's number 7? Let's get number 7 on. Let's make a little
John
comment.
Zerlo, it's his
John
brother.
Zerlo.
The brothers.
You see him give him
the
a-
brothers. Those are the two brothers going at it there. I don't believe it. Gave each other a shot.
Yeah.
Tied up.
Tied up again. I was going to say, are we on camera? My son Mark, of course, played hockey here. He's here today. His son Chad, good hockey player in the Messina area, played for the Messina high school team and did very well. When he went to college, Mark had played junior varsity hockey at Clarkson, but Chad's in Clarkson now. He's not interested. More interested in studying, which pleases the grandfather.
Cougar Maroon to bring it back to even. Score.
Good pass.
by
Oh.
Eric Richard, assisted by Mike Duffy.
There's a slap shot.
There's a slap shot.
Well, I was wrong.
Maybe they are allowing slap
Maybe
shots.
I was wrong. Don't pitch. No. See your roster. Calvin's got his hand up and he's right. Okay. Maroon 7 is Larry Smith. 12 is Bill Bayshard. 16, Dave Gooley. I'm going down the Maroon team. Hey, that was a good goal. That's not Mark. That's not Mark in goal now. I don't know who that is. We thought it was going to be a high-scoring game. It hasn't been that high yet. Brian gets out of the way. The referee should be... Oh, well, there's another slap.
It was hit the stick.
It hit the stick, huh? I think it hit a pad. Oh, that was a good check. Poke check. Here we go. Good back pass, but nobody there.
You should have shot that.
Okay, we're going down the roster again. So we got the Bill Bayshard, Dave.
Watch this.
White goal.
Yeah, it's Todd
Scored
Castle.
by Tom Cullen, assisted by Johnny Bushy.
He's going to announce it, or he did announce it. Okay, we're on. So, 16, Pat Gooley. 14 is Pat Gooley. 16, Dave Gooley. Dave Bayshard, 15. These are all Maroon teams now. Ronnie Tatro, 77. Denny Laporte, 12. Todd DiOrio, 22. Bart Van Leeuwen, 16. Dan McGee, 4. Ron Boyer, 14. Tracy Lemire, 10. And the two goalies on the Maroon team, in addition to Mark, are Dale Tatro and Todd Castime. Mike Duffy's 22. Mike Zerlo's 4. We're going to catch it.
Unassisted.
Pee Wee Shinver, unassisted. Okay.
That's Craig. Donnie.
70.
Donnie and Nancy's son.
Okay. See, John knows these people. So we're down to Mike Duffy's 22. That was a good shot. Ties it.
Tied up. Todd DiOrio.
No, 5-4.
1-7.
Was it? Yeah, 5-4.
Okay, going down the Maroon list still. Mike Duffy 22, Mike Zerlo 4, Rob Francis 15, Mark Badger 9, Jason Langwa, 22. Chad Welch, 19. Matt Nero, 22. Scott Favreau, 10. Jamie Begor, 19. Eric Richards, 1. And Lee Sample, 19. The white team, Kyle Castine, 11. Randy Tatro, 7. Dan Tatro, 15. Steve Dumanel, 7. Tony Musso, 17. 9. Kevin Marks. 7. Jim Hack. 19. Todd LeBombard. 7. John Zerlo. 12. Richard Letourneau. Brian Dumanel is 9. Glenn Levanture is 20. David Castine is 11. Rob Boyer is 4. John Bush is 14. Brian Bayshard is 17. He's not here. You said Brian's not here? Todd LaFountain, 10. Eric Young, 30. Matt Freder, 2. Craig Shenvier, 17. And Craig Hicks, goalie, number 30.
Brian's got a bad back.
So now we're watching the game. We'll try to pick things up.
Brian's picking up too many of those smoke.
Oh, offside, offside, offside. Ryan White is Kevin Marks. Got a change in goalie here. Maroon changed their goaltending. From Dale Tatro to Mark Southwick. For better or worse. Again, Maroons have, no, they're going to get it out this time. There's another slap shot. Good pass.
John Southwick, you're often critical of my hockey play-by-play. How you doing right now?
Well, I'm not doing very well. I say from the stands, there's nobody, no better spectator that can coach and referee and commentate from the stands than me. When I got the microphone, no, I just say that when you call the goaltender the keeper, you know that? I gotta bring this comment up.
Go ahead, Doc.
Calvin was calling the goaltender on hockey a keeper, and that's soccer.
That's soccer.
That's soccer. But that's all right. And Calvin doesn't like all the loud music, but it's not been bad today, has it, Calvin?
I told Sean no music today.
Okay.
I mentioned Sean Parker did a nice job with the national anthem.
He did. He did a nice job introducing everybody. He sings the national anthem before every home high school hockey game. He does a good job. I'm beginning to compare him to Mad Dog and Roger Doucette.
Roger Doucette.
Roger Doucette. Derek Richards. Oh. going to say, got the Gooley brothers out here. 12. No, Bill Bayshard and 16. Eric Richards. Tracy Lemire, good move. A little tangling up with the goalie there. The goalie was not too happy.
No, he wasn't. Who's that goalie?
I got to see his number, and I can't tell you right now. Some pretty good poke checking here. Whoop! Tracy Lemire's having a place.
I don't think he's going to get a lot more than paid you. We'll be fine. They're going to ask too. They say, who do we pay?
Matt Fredette is doing well. Todd LaFountain doing well. Good save, Mark. Uh-oh, here we go. Tied the game.
All knotted up.
Tracy Lemire. Tracy skated well.
Settle it any way they want. I'm done.
Uh-oh.
Settle it however they want.
We're back on? We're on. Okay. 22 is Todd DiOrio. David Gulick.
By Chad Welch, assisted by Tracy Lemire.
Oh, Chad scored. I thought, geez, she did. Let's see. Goalie's 30. Is that Craig Hicks out there? Oh, errant pass. Picked it off. Who's 22? Todd DiOrio.
Yeah,
30 is Eric Lund. What's that?
It's the Rouse Point Raiders. That's what their colors were. Green and white.
There's another slap shot, so I was wrong about the slap shots. 16 is Bart Van Leeuwen, and
Well, you guys haven't talked about the referees.
well. Okay, two referees. Brian Jefferson, he's a councilman, works for Border Patrol, and he's a councilman in Ross's Point. He played youth. He played hockey for Northeastern. And Bobby Pieper. He's now a defenseman for Northeastern Central.
Yep.
He does a good job too. He, with his size, is not afraid to match up with anybody on the rink. Who's 14? 14's Pat Gooley. Seven is Larry Smith. 14 White is John Bushy. Good pass. Mark pushes it aside.
Get hurt, John.
There's a lot of competitive spirit out there.
John's hurt. He's coming on. I think he got hurt in that scuffle. Yeah, he's hurt.
Whoa! 22's Todd DiOrio. 10 white is Todd LaFountain. He's played well. Skated well.
Yeah, I hope it stays the time.
What, you want overtime?
No, I'd like to let him go, leave the ice 5 pounds.
Yes.
Time is it?
Well, he got plenty of time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. He's got the 6.
Maroon's having a hard time getting the puck out again.
Yeah.
Seems to me White has got a little better step.
Yeah.
Just a little better step.
Absolutely. I think
They got more youth on them. Oh, they missed the boat there.
Maroon is tiring.
White's a year younger, aren't
Well, they're a year younger if you go up the line. No, Maroon's got the youngest players. 94.
they? They're the oldest too.
Yep, the oldest and the youngest. Whoop.
Well, I tell you, for some of these kids graduated 35 years or 30 years ago,
They're skating pretty well.
very competitive. A lot of them skate. They play a couple times a week.
Here's a number 7. His name is John Zerlo.
Now he's been playing,
He's been playing well.
trying to get in shape.
Some good passing. Whoop, a little offside, but that's all right.
It's gone.
And let him go. All right. 20 seconds left. 20.6 seconds left. Now White's calling a timeout.
Timeout White.
Oh, gee, I can't believe that.
Just outside in 20 seconds.
Uh-huh.
We're going to give you a little bit of a break, catch a breather, into a 5-minute sudden death overtime.
Oh, my. That's icing. They don't call icing? They don't call any icing. I believe we're going to go into overtime. Yes, we will go into overtime. Only one 5-minute sudden death overtime.
I'd shoot. Mike, go in. See, that almost went in.
Oh, see what happened with a
Was
slap
that
shot.
Mike? That was Michael.
Dan McGee. Oh, no, he's not here.
Yeah, that was Michael. A fan down there.
See, White's got the turn. A lot of players falling down now. A lot of players falling down. Good save, good save. We're back in business. It's Bill Bayshard, is it? Oh, they got more than 112. We got more than 112?
That's Billy.
You know, Denny Laporte's also number 12.
Billy's playing D.
Yeah. That's Denny Laporte there. You can tell him. Not calling icing anymore. They're not calling icing. That's all right. We don't need to call icing. Here we go. Nice save. Nice poke check. Nice poke check. Billy Bayshard.
Yeah, made a great save there.
Yeah. Kept Mark from being the losing goalie.
Let go, Billy!
Oh, a little close there. A little close there. You still on?
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Here we go.
Back check.
Good pass. Good pass. Just couldn't pick it up.
That's Larry right there.
Yeah, 7 Larry. Larry Smith.
Come on, Larry!
Are you rooting for a team out there, John?
You know,
you got a kid on each side.
I know that, but you're right. I'm rooting for some of my favorite players. Larry Smith was a favorite player. Wow, nice save.
Who's in goal there now?
30.
Oh, yeah, still Greg Hicks.
30 right, next right.
Oh, misfire, misfire,
He's
misfire.
got new life here.
Got new life is right. How long is it going to last?
Oh, you know, at the pavilion. You talk about that?
You mentioned that they were going somewhere, but we didn't
Going to
mention the pavilion.
They're having a nice dinner, buffet. And the players are all invited. And, if anybody wants to go, they can go for $12 fee and talk to their players and have fun.
Yeah. Who's 18? 18 in goal now is Todd Castine. Oh, getting a little rough out there now. Getting a little rough.
On the end. Clear that zone. Yeah, they did.
Get out, get out!
Now what are we going to do?
Uh-oh. Maroon might have a chance here. Ooh, he kicked it out.
Yeah, they got it. Maroon wins with 11.9 seconds to go. Wasn't the goalie's fault. He stopped the first one, and there was a rebound, and in it went. In it went.
Scored by Cougar Maroon. Peachy McGore,
Yeah,
assisted
19.
by Eric Richards.
You got that? Peachy Bigore from Eric Richards.
That would have been nice. It could have been a tie.
Yes.
Well, the game has ended 6-5 for the Maroon team over the White. I was kind of hoping it would end in a tie. That would have been nice. But let's just summarize what we've seen here today.
I think we've seen some very good skating and passing.
Absolutely.
And
for guys that graduated 30 years ago.
And not many falling on the ice either. Sprawling, reaching. A couple of questionable penalties at the end, but that's to be expected. Didn't call any penalties because there was no checking.
But as you say, I was impressed with the quality of their play.
Yes.
The
quality of coaching too. I thought the coaching was superb. It couldn't be better.
I don't think the coaches had to do too much today. It's like an all-star game, you know. But it was a wonderful outing. Let's just think about what we've seen here today. It was a wonderful outing. You know, getting the old buddies together that graduated together and graduated from the same school, some of them 30 years apart, and all playing on the same ice, representing their old school, Northeastern Clinton, and I think it was a very successful day, and I have to hand it to Vinny Nigro for organizing this affair and having it turn out so successful.
I think he should be very well satisfied.
Absolutely.
With how it turned out, how the players showed up, and a fairly good crowd too.
Absolutely, yeah.
In front of me,
3 stars.
third star goes to the room. Number 9, Mark Badger.
Hey,
Number 2 star, 30 white, Tank Young. And the first star, Ed White in goal, Craig Hicks.
I don't know.
Okay, John.
All right, we're going to wrap it up.
We are just about out of tape. Say your final words. The tape might run out any moment now.
I hope this will be a repeat performance next year or the year after. And good luck to all.
Thanks to John Southwick, Dr. John, and County Clerk John Zerlo for taking us through today's and first of many to come alumni hockey tournament, hockey playoff game here at Northeastern Clinton. Welcome home, Cougars.
Turn them around for pictures. They should have turned them around for the pictures for us. Hey, we're going to a basketball game on Friday.